So now I'm going to show you how you can take what you just made from your Google Slides and your YouTube videos and import that into Quizizz. So I'm going to go to the Quizizz website. And I'm going to go to Create. With Quizizz Pro, you do have to pay, but you can now make an entire lesson. So I'm going to make a lesson that I've actually already done and then delete it. So for my Algebra 2B, I have made lessons for all of my curriculum so far. So I'll just take an example from a statistics unit on sample spaces. So what I do first is I open my Google Slides, and you'll need to leave this open. And you're going to need to download the PDF. So you click here to File, Download, and then PDF. Now it'll stay down here once it downloads, and I'll leave it there. So I'm going to just call this Lesson 3 Sample Spaces. You just click that it's math. Now what I need to do, let me move this. I need to click down here where it says Import Slides. And you can just drag and drop your PDFs. So I do just that. So that will import into Quizizz. So what I do is I look and it says Lesson 3 Sample Spaces. You can come here and change the look of this if you want. So there's a first slide in sample spaces, the learning target. If you notice, it has a link there for the video, but that's not going to show up. So what I need to do is add my YouTube video. So I click down here to add slides, and you can put in all different types of things. So I can add a YouTube video, image, audio clips, and you could even, if you needed to, put a web page on there, depending on your creativity with how you want to use this. So I go through, and now I go back to my sample spaces, click on here. Always make sure that you check your YouTube videos so that it's the right one. So if you notice, I need to click that and fix that because that did not say rolling cubes on it. So if I go down here, this is my video for sample spaces. So I go there, click on this. This will copy it. I go back to my Quizizz, and I need to go and figure out, well, where is my first video? So I'm going to do that after I put in the second video. So I know the second video link is fine. And I just copy and paste it over here and put that in. Now to find my first video, I can, because this will happen once in a while, you put in bad links and forget that. I go to my YouTube page and I look under my videos for March 2nd. So let me show you how to do that, just in case the same thing happens to you. So to do this on YouTube, what you do is go to your videos. And I'm going to have a bunch in here because I do this quite frequently. So I know that I need to go back to March 2nd. And I just keep looking until I get to March 2nd. All right, so here's my rolling cubes video. So I need to fix that on here. So to fix it on here, I just click on Edit Link, hit Control V, apply, look back at it. Okay, there's what I want. And then I can put that back in here. So then I go through and I look, all right, well, There's my slides for the two parts of drawing sample spaces. Here's another part where I need a video. So then I click in and put in a YouTube video. And I go back here. I already put in the second video. Here were just slides if I were to go over those in person and draw those out on the board. Here's my other one that I want. So I just copy the link, go back and paste it in. And then I put in some summaries. Once in a while, these don't display well. So I just explain to students like this might not show up well, but I'll show you how I give all of my links to students as well and share that on Google Classroom. So what I do next, though, I'm going to put in the practice problems, and then I'm going to show you how I organize my links too. So I go down here, and for each of these, I make a learning target and links. So I go down here. Oh, and there's my learning targets for the unit. But on here, so here's how I share my materials with other teachers. So you can just put this on here. I make individual links for my lesson plans. And in Google, if I wanted to do that, like let's say I'm on lesson 3 and I wanted to share my lesson plan, you just click on this, click on the link, copy the link, and then on the new document that you're making, like over the lesson plan, you would highlight it, and then you can click this link button and put it on there. But I do that with my lesson plan, slides, notes, and practice to share those with other teachers. Or then what I do is I also make a student version of this and just take out the lesson plan. Sometimes I might leave them with the key if I want them to be able to check their answers, sometimes not. Now, going back to creating the quizzes. So on here, there's different types of questions that you would put in. Now, if I want to put in this first question, it says list all the different outcomes. Well, I'm not going to be able to list all that. So what you would do to put this type of question in there, where students are going to have to draw it out themselves in a notebook, you upload your sniping tool. Take an image. You're going to have to save it. I always save this as image number 1 and always replace image number 1 and then just put it in there. So when I'm going in here now and I want to add a problem, so let me move this. I click add slides. Now you have these options. You could make a multiple choice, just A, B, C, D, or however many options. A checkbox if there's multiple answers. You can do a fill in the blank for a specific number. You could poll the class if you do it live just to see their opinions. In this case, it's going to be open-ended. So now what I do is I just put in my image. I save that as number 1. Pop that in there. And then you just have to train students when they look at this question, you put it in there. Now, one drawback is on open-ended question, students always just automatically get this right. So you need to know that whatever they put down, they're going to get that right. And I don't tell that to students so that they can just write this down. And I might, if it's important and I need to cover it, then talk about it the next day. So out here, we have 4 different questions here. So a student picks a random letter from the words in cat and meow. So what I would do is highlight over this. So let me go back there. Sorry, I was having some problems with the mouse and I had to put it in classic mode. So this is a specific question. So I'm going to highlight that part. And this would be a close-ended question with one answer. So when I do that, for this type of question, I'm going to add my slide, but I'm going to put in a fill in the blank. So I just click on this. Student picks a random letter from the word cat and a random letter from the word meow. So they're doing two different draws. Then I go back and it says how many outcomes are in the sample space. So that's not typing in well, so I'll just put that question in there. So how many outcomes are in the sample space? Now, you can have students draw out the sample space or use a multiplication rule. So if they're picking a letter from here, you have 3, and then combine with 4 letters there. So you'd multiply 3 times 4, and you would have 12 outcomes. And then what I do too, so they don't type in 12 or 12 outcomes, I put in here, just type the number only. That way a student doesn't get an answer wrong for putting 12 outcomes instead of 12. And they can kind of read that and make sense of that. So on here, this would be an example of a multiple choice question. So to put in a multiple choice question, again, you just add your slides. Here's a multiple choice. And then you would put that in there and put in your A, B, C, D. So the other ones that I want to talk about as you put those in, just a checkbox if you have a problem where there's more than one answer, and then you just highlight more of those. So those are always staples in IM Math 2. And this is where it says select all of these, and there's more than one answer. So I would just also make this part, and you can capitalize that. But what you can do then is if you're looking up answers and such, and you just want to have a time saver, you can look down here. IM lesson plans are quite long, so they'll tell you very detailed things for all of your YouTube lessons as you make them. So you want to make sure that you read those to understand the math that's supposed to come out of those summaries. And they have very detailed explanations for each part, which again, this is just one lesson. And then they also have answers for all their problem things. So if you look here, how many outcomes were there? 12, like I said. What's the probability that C is chosen? So they go through and do those. But I was looking at the one here where you select all, and I would just put that in there and then put over where you have A, B, C, and D. And you can just highlight, scroll those in, and just put B, D, and E and highlight those. So that's just some examples of options that you have once you do Quizizz. Now, a couple things that you can know about. So if you didn't want to do the Quizizz Pro, there is a cost attached to it. It's roughly $60. What you can do is make your Quizizz parts for free and then also share those with your colleagues. And you can just embed your videos in your Google Slides. So there are multiple options for that.